Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle something that can feel, well, a little intimidating, the COSHH assessment. That's short for Control of Substances Hazardous to Health, and I promise by the end of this, you'll see it's a lot simpler than you think.
You know that feeling, right? You're staring at a blank safety form like this one, looking at a bottle covered in all these symbols, and you just think, where do I even begin? It can feel like you need a secret decoder ring. Well, today, we're going to give you the key.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll get fluent in the language of chemical safety, those H and P codes. Then we'll go step by step through this assessment form, turning those codes into a safety plan that's actually useful. Let's get started.
Okay, first things first. Before we can even think about filling out a form, we've got to learn the lingo. And thankfully, there's a universal system for this.
It's called the GHS, or the Globally Harmonized System. And you could think of it as the Rosetta Stone for chemical safety. It's the reason a worker anywhere in the world can look at the same container and understand the exact same dangers. It's our key to everything.
And this is where it gets really simple. All those confusing codes really boil down to just two types. First, you have H codes for hazard statements. Think of these as the big flashing warning sign. They tell you what the danger is. Then you have P codes for precautionary statements. That's your instruction manual. It tells you what to do about the danger.
So let's look at a few of these in the wild. You might see H226 on a label. That tells you it's a fire risk. H314 is a serious warning about chemical burns. H336 is about a health risk if you breathe it in, and H411 tells you it's bad for the environment. See, each code is a very specific, very important piece of the puzzle.
All right, theory's over. Let's get our hands dirty and actually start filling out our assessment card, starting right at the top.
Step 1 is honestly the easy part. This is just the basic housekeeping stuff. What's the product called? Who makes it? And who do you call if something goes wrong? All of this info is right there on the product label or in its safety data sheet, the SDS.
Okay, now we get to the real meat of it. We're going to take those H codes we just learned about and use them to fill in the most critical section of the form. This is where the code breaking happens.
So if you look at the form here, you'll see it's broken down by how you might get exposed: ingestion, inhalation, skin contact, eye contact. Our job is to take the H codes from the product's safety sheet and translate them into plain English.
Let's pretend we're assessing a product called ChemClean Pro. We look at its safety data sheet and we find the code H314. Well, the code itself tells us exactly what it means. Causes severe skin burns and eye damage. So we go to our form, and in the row for skin contact, we write severe burns. In the row for eye contact, severe eye damage. It's that direct.
And this is where the P codes come into play. For that eye hazard, the safety sheet gives us a P code, P305 plus 351 plus 338. And that code translates directly into our first aid instructions. If in eyes, rinse cautiously with water for several minutes. Remove contact lenses if present and easy to do. Continue rinsing. You're not guessing, you're just copying the instructions.
Okay, so we know what can go wrong, and we know what to do if it does. But how do we stop it from going wrong in the first place? That brings us to our third and final step, defining the control measures.
And you guessed it, we're going right back to our P codes. They're like our cheat sheet for this section. The form asks what personal protective equipment, or PPE, is needed. And you don't have to guess. The safety data sheet will tell you exactly what you need to wear.
For our ChemClean Pro, we see the code P280. That's a direct command. We go right to our form, and under hand, body, and eye protection, we write down exactly that: protective gloves, protective clothing, and eye or face protection. The P code gives you the answer.
But it's not just about what you wear. The form also covers other critical things. A code like P210 tells you your fire prevention rules. P273 tells you how to protect the environment. P391 gives you instructions for cleaning up a spill, and P501 tells you how to dispose of the waste safely. Every single part of the plan is guided by these codes.
So, we've identified the substance, we've documented all the hazards, and we've nailed down the control measures. So what does that give us in the end?
And look at that. What started as this confusing blank page is now a crystal clear, easy-to-read safety plan. Anyone, and I mean anyone on the team, can now look at this and understand the risks and how to stay safe in just a few seconds.
So why does this all matter? I mean, is it just more paperwork? Absolutely not. This document is way more than a box-ticking exercise. It's a communication tool. It's the piece of paper that protects you, protects your coworkers, and makes sure everyone goes home safe at the end of the day.
So I'll leave you with this thought. You now have the key. You know how to decode the language of chemical safety. So take a look around your own workplace.
What's the first hazardous substance you're going to assess with these new eyes?